We were in location Durango and Santa Fe, and I'd come in after the day and just start working on this thing. I love this character, this guy, Buddy Young Jr. He's an animal. He's the funniest, craziest, he's Raging Jew. This guy. He is a composite of all of these great comics that I grew up loving. Alan King, Red Buttons, Shecky Green, but it's really a family story. Ultimately, it's about his relationship with his brother and his daughter and his wife, but it's the funniest thing by far that I've ever done and been involved with, and I've been fortunate to be in some really good, funny movies. It's a really wonderful film.
Inspired by these comedians that you grew up with?
Yeah, you watch them, and, they're machines. They're like Terminators with an audience. They're unbelievable on stage, but their offstage life, ain't so great. And it's really a lot about that. I mean, it's very funny, but it's very emotionally charged at the same time.
Tell us this: you're a concept guy, an idea guy. You're a writer, and when you come up with an idea for something like this, and you babysit this as long as you have, you have a way in your mind that you want it to be. You want it to be whatever it is in here. It's sometimes hard to put the words down on paper, get the actors in place, and make it what you want it to be.
Especially after 10 years of imagining it.
The thing that was great was I got, as I look at it, and I've seen it 11 million times now because I directed the piece and edited and cut it. The first cut was 3 hours and 10 minutes long. It's now 1 hour and 50.
Jeez.
I took a movie out of it.
That was hard.
It must have been hard because you wanted all these important things in there.
Yeah, there's little specific things. Movies to me are like lobsters. Oh, I didn't know there's meat in there. And you find it.
Yeah.
I got everything I wanted on this. In baseball terms, I saw the ball real good. I felt good. I got all of it. Feel good. And I saw the seams on it. That kind of stuff. It's really more than I expected.
When you're editing something, especially an hour you've taken out of it,
hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 20 minutes, and this is your project,
and you bled when you cut them out.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
I took out 40 minutes of me bowing. That alone.
That's tough, though.
Oh, yeah. If I'd have had that, I'll tell you that right now.
You have to look at it from a totally different angle, though. It's not just you're taking out. You're the director, and you have to do things. It'd be tough, I would think, ego-wise, even to take some things.
Yeah, you have to kick that aside. Yeah. First of all, you have to do what's best for the story and what's best for the movie. And there were some really intricate, great moments that had to go for the sake of the movie. And at first you go, oh, I can't. But the audiences tell you, the early screening audiences, if they're restless, if they get up, if they walk around, out. Out.
What you know.
And sometimes, it may sound weird, you actually have to cut good stuff for the sake of the story, too. I mean, sometimes it was like too funny. Like too many jokes. To filter it down, make them wait a little bit more.
I wish we had that problem.
That was a hard thing. Was to lose some good jokes.
With the press, the publicity, the critics, it has already been touted as the Oscar nominee, as this, that. So the audience that hasn't seen it yet says, well, by God, it better be funny. I'm going to stand in line. Do you like that angle with him going in the door for the first
time? What's the alternative? This smells, this stinks, this is a bacala.
Then let's go see it. Let's go see it then.
This has gotten the best reviews of anything I've ever gotten if you put any stake in reviews, But the people who see it just adore this movie and really like it. I got my head on the T-ball thing in this, because I'm so involved in it, and I think people are going to like it. The fact that they're talking about it in such great terms just makes me feel really good.
Timing's good after City Slickers.
Couldn't be much better right now, but this is a very different movie. It's I'm not going to say better, because that's not fair to that movie, but it genuinely is funnier, I would say that.
Production question. When you're doing the stand-up, in the movie, the audience in front of you, are they actors or I mean, obviously they're extras, but do they know the jokes, or
no.
Did you bring them in and you're doing comedy in front of these people and they don't know what you're about to say?
Yeah, they don't know what I'm about to say, and the thing was, they're period jokes. It was 1951 that for one of the scenes, and the jokes in 1951 are not what I would do. I'm a lot funnier than Buddy Young Jr. And so I'm doing older style jokes.
Right.
I come home, I found my wife in bed with my best friend. I said, Lenny, I have to, but you? You know, this stuff. But they still work, you know. But you do, you know, and so, but then during the course of the day, they see it over and over again. You know, they'll see it 20, 30 times from all the different angles that I shot it at. But you have to, in between takes, I would tell them, do other stuff for them and keep them up, you know.
Yeah.
You know, from the first time we saw you being the character on Soap and looking at this actor who's playing this role, you had really no idea what it was that you had to offer, and we didn't know what you had coming up. You really, to a degree, you hadn't screwed up. You've had a lot of really big hit films, you've done the Oscar shows, and you've totally made that a different entity as far as watching an Academy Awards program. Does that make it hard for your next step? Is there a tremendous amount of pressure, and you think, geez, I've got to put on the kind of stuff I already have?
Yeah, absolutely. It's also a nice problem to have, but it always it pushes me, it excites me, and it challenges me to do better. Sometimes when that thought gets too much, you have to step back and just not do anything for a while. Which is what I'm going to do now. Chill? Is that what the young people say?
Yeah, I think it is.
I think I need to chill for a while. As the you young people, I tell you, you're nuts. You fall out of bed, you're dressed. Where's my drummer? It's challenging. But you know, I don't think you can think about that. You know, I just want to keep doing good work.
You talk about Buddy Young Jr. and the fact that he had a very successful career, but he also had a tragic personal life. It wasn't as good off stage as it was on.
Yeah, see, but his career was, well, you know, we say it's lonely at the middle. And he's in the middle. He had one brief shining moment. He was a hit on TV in 1956 for a while. And that happened to a lot of them. Jack Carter had his own show, and it got canceled. And then Red Buttons had his own show. I had my own show and got canceled in '82 at NBC, and that was the hardest time of my life. You know, so it happens. You know, Buddy had a lot of talent. Was he Sid Caesar? No. Was he Alan King? No. But he was good. He could have been great. He was his own worst enemy. Every time he does something that could lead him to stardom, he blows it up. And then he has bad luck. There's a hilarious section in the movie that takes place in 1964. Buddy was the man who followed the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. And he has a nervous breakdown on stage. He can't handle it. They're screaming and yelling, and he's trying to do jokes. You're excited. I just bought a house. Where's Ringo? No, shut up. And then he goes, no. So, yeah, the world's a rough room for Buddy.
You know, being in the business that you're in, and it's kind of odd that you would put this on, but you working as much as you obviously have to work. You're writing, you're filming, you're preparing for this. What kind of wife must you have to put up with the fact that her husband and the father of her kids ain't around a whole lot, I wouldn't think?
First of all, I'm not the father of her kids, despite what she says. No, she is Janice. I know she's listening because she's a big fan of you guys. And she is an amazing woman. My hours on this movie, in particular, despite my hours in life, I mean, you know, I've been up since 1948. And
but you look good.
I feel all right.
Yeah,
as long as you have your health.
Yeah.
And it's better to look good than to feel good.
Yes, it is.
And you know who you are. You know, I would go to sleep at 6 o'clock at night to get up at 1 or midnight to go to work. You know, I'd be in the makeup chair at 2 a.m. And forgetting that, I mean, her emotional strength through all my ups and downs has been remarkable. You know, I'm not the easiest lizard to live with. And, you know, we've been together since the Johnson administration. So, yes, but you know, that keeps me grounded. You walk in from, you know, doing all of this glamour stuff like this, and you walk into, you got to pick Lindsay up at 3, and then the cleaners, and then we got a carpool, and the you know, I left the Tonight Show last night because I had to go to back to school night. And that's Janice. She's the greatest.
Now, do you, in your hectic schedule, there are moments and times where you got to go to the school play that your son is in or whatever. Do you make sure, if possible, that you can do all of those things that are very important to the kids?
I never miss things if I can be there. we were making Harry and Sally. I've never missed a birthday. I hate missing birthdays, you know. And we were making Harry and Sally in New York, and my youngest daughter, who was going to be 10, was back out here, right? So I was feeling so horrible all week. I can't be there. So Bruno Kirby and I were talking. Bruno said, you should go, you should get back. And I said, oh, well, how could I do this? So I called Janice. I said, go to Gelson's and get a gigantic carton and leave the bottom open and gift wrap the top. I'm going to make this plain. Don't tell Lindsay I'm coming, right? So fortunately it rained out of like 2:30 in the afternoon. We were shooting in Central Park, and I ran to Kennedy, got on the flight, and just before I got on the plane, I called and I said, honey, I can't make it, you know, and I felt so bad. Oh, Daddy, I understand. I said, but a big package is going to be there. And, you know, so I got close. She left it outside. I grabbed the thing. I felt so terrible, but some about it felt so good at the same time.
Right.
Rang the bell, got under the box, and then Janice comes to the door and does this like bad soap opera acting, you know, like, hello, who's out there? Is anyone there? Say, Lindsay, look at this package. And I heard her, and that was her 10th, and she jumped into my arms. And all she said is, I felt like Joan Embry bringing a chimp out on the Tonight Show. I wouldn't move. And all she said was, somebody pinch me. And I tell you, I could have left right then and gone back. It was so full. It was so full. It was great.
That is excellent.
But you can't miss those things.
Yeah. Well, it's a tough business for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to take a real quick break and be right back. Please don't.
It's going very well, I think.
I think so. It has. Hello. 85.5 KLOS, 27 minutes after 9.
It's a welcome departure.
Billy.
Who's that guy? Why does he have to be that way?
He gets paid.
Do you guys notice a lot of big stars doing voiceovers on? And then can you nail? We play a game. Who's that? Who is that? And it's like Gene Hackman for. Can we not mention it?
Sure.
He does United.
Right.
Michael Douglas is doing like an Infinity, I think, car commercial.
Martin Sheen does Anybody Who'll Hire Him.
And Eli Wallach is like putting a midget in a blender with a Toyota. You asked me to look at this car. This is a Toyota. Look at this car. What a Jeep. What a car. Toyota. When you gonna turn it? It's like a little fox terrier.
All right, now you were in one of our favorite movies, The Princess Bride.
I've seen worse.
Directed.
Now be careful. This is like his anthem, his life anthem.
This isn't a Todd Donahoe
No.
trivia question on
No,
Princess Bride.
I have really nowhere to go with this other than Miracle Max was
Great fun.
Was brilliant.
Oh, thanks. I had the greatest time. I worked only 3 days on the movie. Rob's my best friend.
Right.
I loved the novel, and the Princess Bride novel I had loved, and he called me up and said, "Do you want to be Max?" I went, "Oh boy, yeah, okay."
You were tailor-made for it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And we fly over, and we did a big makeup job, and designing that makeup, I said I want to look like a combination of Casey Stengel and my grandmother. and it really worked.
Yeah.
I thought the 37 on my cape was a bad touch, but and I'm working with Andre the Giant, 7'3", too many pounds, Mandy Patinkin, and Carrie Elway, and Carol Kane. And I'm going to get you some of the outtakes of this because it got so rough.
Rough as in
Funny.
Oh, I'd love
But
to
a little
see
dirty.
that.
And he's going, please, you have to hurry up. He's dead, you know. Shut up, Sonny. I had a terrible day. I found my nephew with the sheep. And he goes, a former Viking yet. Go figure. And we had to take it out, unfortunately.
Now, that wasn't in the script. Did Rob just go play? Go be Miracle
Well,
Max
there was
and
a
play
great,
for him?
we had a great, Bill Goldman wrote a great script.
Yeah.
And a couple of little things. The mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich I
With
put
the
in there.
mutton's nice and lean.
Oh, it's perky.
Yeah,
Perky. It's perky.
You know, we were
The
talking
mutton's
earlier.
nice and lean.
We were talking earlier about it may be really hard to think of a film that has been like not good for you.
Oh, there's a few.
Name them.
Over a Rabbit Test, that was my first. But, you know, there's still some funny stuff in it. But I was a rookie, you know, just had a AA.
You know, somebody sent a fax question over and didn't even think about this one for a while. But the question is, will there be a Running Scared sequel? Which, in case you don't know, that film with Gregory Hines, a lot of real on-screen good chemistry and a very funny movie.
Very funny. That was really, in my own estimation, you know, my first film, even though it was my second, because it was my first leading role of substance. He's great to work with. We just hit it off, like that. It was a lot of fun. Peter Hyams let us play around a lot, and it was a good rapport. We're both from New York, and we both know how to talk to each other, and it was kind of hip and funny,
It worked.
And I got to fool around. It's funny, but I keep talking about baseball, but I know a lot of baseball players, and they'll all come up to me and go, "Oh no, this little phone call I did in Running Scared, this guy Pinky," and they all come up to me and go, well, they don't pay me no more, and I'm mad. But people like Tim Raines and my social knows all this stuff. It was wild.
Yul Brynner. You do the only and best Yul Brynner.
Oh, yeah.
Moses and the Hebrewites think they can outwit us, my father. What is this? Who is this? Moses. What does he think? What does he do? I did on Saturday night.
The Hebrewites.
Oh yeah, the Hebrewites. I did his sister, Ruth Brenner, in a thing called Lifestyles of the Relatives originally.
I don't think I've seen this.
Oh really? It was in 84. And I was totally bald woman, heavily made up, and she was a travel agent.
Yeah.
Because she was the big star. It was the relatives of the
Right.
and her thing was she was on the phone. Ruth Brenner was. She was on the phone with booking sheets and stuff and going, "Yes, I can get you there, but you have to go to Atlanta. If you want to change in Denver, that's up to you. Don't bother me. You can change there, you can go to Chicago, to do hair, etc., 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 etc." And I was all bald. It was very funny. Really
Did
funny.
you write the majority of your own stuff for Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, you had some. We went in as a group. There was Christopher Guest, Harry Shearer, myself, and Marty Short, and we were good friends. We all said, "You want to do this? I'll do it if you do it. You'll do it if he'll do it." We were like a charm bracelet.
Yeah.
And we really wrote for ourselves and for each other a lot. We came up with some great stuff that year.
In some kind of dismal years for Saturday Night Live, those were a couple of good ones.
Oh, we had. Well, I was only on one season. Actually, it was only 18 shows because there was a writer's strike. It was funny. Last weekend, Comedy Central did this marathon of everything I was in. It was almost frightening. I kept expecting Ralph Edwards to walk in and
give you a book.
and it was great remembrances to see stuff that we had done from. Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
And the Fernandos were great, and the black ball players that Chris Guest and I did, the two 75-year-old black ball players, which was a great piece. When we was playing ball, I loved to go to the ball field, 'cause it would smell like a park. You'd smell the cut grass. Now I go to the games and they're vacuuming the field. It ain't the same.
Ain't the same.
It ain't the same. Back then they would not let us, drink water from the white man's water fountain. They wouldn't let us eat dinner in the white man's dining room. But if they knew that we was with their women, I don't think dinner would have been a problem.
All right, let's take a call. Rebecca,
Yes.
you're on the air with Billy Crystal.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to know how Meg Ryan was.
In what way? Meg is a delightful, great person and a sensational actress. We had great rapport together, and
You'd
I
have
look
to.
forward to doing it again.
You'd have to have a great report for that movie to come off like it did.
Yeah. She's just so sweet and so funny. She has great timing. She's very much can be our Gracie Allen, I think.
Well, it's like my favorite movie of all time. And
Cool.
that and City Slickers, I bought them all.
Great.
And it was great.
You don't go in for that renting thing. You buy them. I like
buy
that. Good, because I got a piece. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Thanks for calling.
Oh, merit badges?
Oh, you got it.
Thanks.
Brings up a question. Your wife,
Yeah.
Billy, on screen with another attractive woman, tongue kissing.
Let's take another call.
All right.
It's uncomfortable. It's part of the business. But there's a no tongue rule. There's a definite no tongue rule
Between you and the wifeage.
Yeah,
Mark and I have
and
that
the other
same
actors, it's not. First of all, it's not healthy, and no, really, you don't know, and you can simulate that and then get the same thing.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, like in Top Gun,
I was just thinking of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, man, that abalone flew out of there. And I'm going, what is that? You don't need to see it. You don't need to see it. Just too much information.
That abalone.
Okay. What's your name?
Rebecca.
Oh, sorry, we just talked to you. Sorry.
Let's ask you this:
Hey, we got Armand here.
Armand.
Armand?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Great. Billy, I'm glad that I got a chance to talk to you.
Oh, good.
Your movies are like the best.
Thank you, Armand.
I've always enjoyed them. Like, it's been great hearing you reminisce about running scared and everything.
So let's get to the point.
Well,
That means he likes you, Armand.
I'm just joking.
how was it to direct Mr. Saturday Night?
It was the greatest creative time I've ever had in my life because I knew how the room should smell. No, I meant that. I mean it literally, and I actually did make the room smell. We had this. There's a sequence. You're gonna go today, right, Armand?
Actually, I'm working tonight, but I am going to go see it very soon.
What do you do?
I'm a journeyman clerk at Lucky's. I check groceries. But
Okay.
I'm not planning to stay on that.
All right. Well, good. Well, hey, you got a job.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good thing. Thank you, Mr. Bush. That whole bit. I actually cooked food the night before and left it out. And certain scenes that took place like in my grandmother's house and so on. So when the actors came in, it smelled like my grandmother's house, and it was the most fun I've ever had because I've been thinking about this thing for a long time.
Wow.
First directing project?
Yeah.
And we had talked about the schedule. When they say cut, it's a wrap for the day. You don't get to go home.
I don't get to go home. I still haven't been home. I also had complications because for 53 of the 83 days I was in the makeup, and it takes almost 2 hours to get out of that.
Oh, man.
So I'd go to dailies like that. I was I kept joking, I'm the Jew in the Iron Mask here, and then you can't really do anything. And you're always thinking, even if you are home, you're always thinking about the next day.
Let us ask you about your hosting of the Academy Awards, and that you're about to step out in front of this worldwide audience.
And the world's a rough room.
But you have done such an incredible job. But
Thanks.
Before you said yes to it, why would you ever consider putting yourself through this kind of critics' torture? I mean, you're throwing yourself out there to suck.
Yeah, it's almost a selfless. I don't know what someone called a thankless job. But I knew what I could do with it. I had hosted the Grammys for 3 years and had changed that around and had my own fun with that, and had done some different kind of things in that, and did a piece with Bobby McFerrin one year that was really fun.
Saw that,
the history of music and the cavemen. Started with cavemen. And little did the cavemen know that Michael Jackson would soon own their publishing, and then I didn't leave the Grammys to host the awards. I just left the Grammys because I'd done it 3 years and 3 comic reliefs at that point. It was like enough. I was the DH,
Yeah.
And 2-3 months later, then the Oscars called, and I said, well, why not?
Such a tough run.
Your first time was the first time the toughest.
The toughest. That was pretty tough. But the first time was when I presented one year. That was hard. That was you walk out at the Grammys and all those big music stars, and that's really exciting. But there's something about movie guys sitting there with those big heads, because that's my theory, that all movie stars have big heads. Think about
Physically
it.
large.
Physically large, big heads. Look at Nicholson, big. Meryl Streep, big head. Really big heads. Bogart, big head. Spencer Tracy, enormous head, like a diving helmet.
You never noticed it.
Big head. Elizabeth Taylor, big head.
Big, huge.
Really, gigantic.
Really
head.
large.
And then you could think of some people, and you go, he's good, but the head's not that big. You know what I mean? It's the big head theory. And you walk out there, and Gene Hackman, big head.
Really big. You don't notice that one.
Clint, he's huge.
Melon.
Melon. Peach baller. So I walk out, and there they are.
And they're
Dustin, big head.
Now, how do you...
And they get the front row, which is ridiculous because they can't see over them.
That's true. And I think in movie theaters, I think movie theaters should have a big head section.
In the back.
Or to the left, just to the left. And I think that movie theaters also should have a big sign and a guy with a club. Anyone who comes in with a beeper or a telephone now, there's this cellular phone thing.
Yeah, that's right.
It drives me, and the watches that go beep beep every half hour. Turn them on mute, or leave them at the door, or be clubbed. That's what I do.
Or be clubbed.
That's a tough rule.
I was presenting the movie Mr. Saturday Night. I don't know if you heard about it, but I was presenting it at the Toronto Film Festival. It's a world premiere, right? Gigantic thing.
Yeah.
And I have the cast on stage. It's a festival, and you introduce them. And just as I'm about to say, so I hope you enjoy this movie, I hear this. A lady in the front with a cellular phone. At a movie theater.
Get the call.
What is that? What is that? I went off on her. I'm in a good way, but like, honey, I'm going to be at the premiere. Call me. So, folks, when you come to Mr. Saturday Night, put your watches on mute, and then don't bring a phone, the cellular phone. What do you have to talk to somebody constantly?
You know, the last Academy Awards, the one-arm push-up happened, and it was a joy to see. It was almost an honor to see you run with that, because you knew you were looking forward to the next time you're coming out. You've heard all this. But also, I couldn't help but think, what if that hadn't happened? I wonder, because you know you're going out with planned stuff, and you're going to... I would have liked to heard what else you had planned.
Well, we actually mixed them together. We were going to run the Sexiest Man thing, which we ended up doing. The covers of people. Here's a former Sexiest Man. How could there be two? Kevin Costner, you were the Sexiest Man last year. Now this guy's this year. What happened?
1 year.
What did you do?
What went wrong for you?
Yeah, your face fell in a year. What happened? So we were going to run that, you know. And then Jack did that, and we were backstage, and it was the greatest setup in the history of comedy, you know.
I got to ask you a question with the Academy Awards. This past year was the big year for Silence of the Lambs. Anthony Hopkins is there in the front row. You come
Big
out.
head.
Really
huge,
big.
huge,
My
big
God,
head.
it's so large. You come out, and of course you got the mask on, and you're strapped to the table, and that was very funny.
Yeah.
Before you came out, did you intend to go down into the audience and say or do something with Anthony Hopkins?
I thought I was just going to look at him from the stage. But what happened was the orchestra kept playing through. They were supposed to stop. I was supposed to get to the mark. Band would stop. But they kept playing for some reason. And I was supposed to say, guess who's coming to dinner? And then I was going to, you know, make some jokes about people and, you know, and so on and so forth. Nick Nolte, another very big head.
Really?
And
God, it's
large. And he's sitting next to Streisand.
Big everything.
And they didn't stop playing, so I went down there. And we said some things together, and I came back up.
When this happens, and
that was his actual mask. They lent us Jonathan Demme lent us the suit, the thing.
Love your suit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to Jody. And as I came back up the aisle, but the orchestra kept playing.
But now, when this happens, and you're just walking out on the Academy Awards, and there's a screw up like this, and you had a plan, but it's not going to go. Is your head exploding? Are you dying inside and thinking, my God?
You just keep going, and just you know, you hope that they're going to stop, and then recover. I knew I had good jokes, but I think they stopped, and I said, remember me, the goalie from the SAG hockey team?
Yeah.
That's what I looked like, you know. It worked better there.
Well, we were in your only room. All right, we've got to take care of a business break. We will return. We'll go to some more phone calls and continue discussing.
See, this is better than you thought it was going to be, isn't it?
No, it's better than you thought it was going to be. That's the
Back
thing.
in a minute.
All right, 95.5 KLOS, 14 minutes to 10. Billy Crystal is here. We wish we could have him for 2 more hours, but we're going off the air. You can hang if you want, but we're leaving.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right, a fax question that just came in on the fax machine. Will there be a City Slickers 2? And if so, will Jack Palance dig himself out of the sand?
Well, that's what I was talking about. I had this great idea for coming attraction, and this helicopter shot over the desert. The iguanas getting out of the way, coyotes howling, snakes getting something horrible's happening. Pull into the cross, this old wooden cross. Hand comes up like from Carrie. Out, smoke, push in. Jack Palance dusts himself off, does 3 one-arm push-ups. We push into his face, and he goes, "City folk." He's running after me in New York, still dusty. I'm a narcoleptic. That's, you don't mean you bury a guy. The heartbeat goes down to 12. I had pills in my pocket, you dope.
I like the fact he's thought of the trailer before the film.
Yeah. Well, it helps. It's a tool.
Oh, God.
So I would like to do it. I would like to do it. You know, I think that we address the middle-aged area, so we can't do that anymore. So I think it should be just like a romp, you know, a great romp, and you know, Jack could have an evil twin. You know,
we had on the show.
What, like he wasn't evil?
What a character! I tell you, this guy's amazing.
We had him on last year's Christmas show. He sang one of the coveted spots on our Christmas show each year. We take it to a big auditorium, invite the listeners to come down, and we bring out this big velvet chair, a spotlight, little fire burning in the fireplace, and he read more effectively. Oh yes,
The Night Before Christmas.
My God,
He's amazing. Isn't he?
The room stood still.
the great actors we've had do this before in previous years have read it and done a wonderful job. He started reading, put it down, and stood up and acted it out.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew it
By heart.
by heart.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
I mean,
it
that's
was
amazing because he didn't know any of his lines.
That's what I hear. That's what I've heard.
Great. Thanks, Jack.
He's now bungee cord jumping off the Hollywood sign.
Jack College for you.
All right.
Do you have, with all the different things that you have done, are you going to? Is there something that you got to go do? You've directed and you're producing and you're acting. Is there something out there that you got to have?
I gotta have some time. I think right now just to cool out. Career-wise, what I'd
Chill.
Ouch. I'd like, and I mean that. Oh God, I had a moratorium and it's over. No. But I'd like to do a one-man Broadway show, maybe, or a special kind of thing like that. That would be fun, I think.
So after the promotion and all this stuff's over for the movie, you're going to take some time?
I want to learn how to do a couple of things. I want to learn how to really relax. I've never been able to get past like a 10-day thing.
Yeah. You
know?
start thinking about wanting to go back.
Yeah, 10 days, then I'm like sort of ready, and then I got to go back. So I want to like take an extended time and maybe travel to Europe a little bit. I want to learn how to paint. I want to ride my horse a lot and rope some calves, which I really still love doing. And just like get back in touch with me.
Well, maybe someday you'll be financially set to be able to do that, take more than 10 days off.
You got to keep that paycheck coming
Low
in.
blow, man.
No.
I mean that.
All right, let's go to 3. Stu. Hello, Stu.
Yeah.
You're on the air. Go ahead, Stu.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, Stu.
You're great. I want to tell you so much. I don't have time. I want to tell you something. I want you to do the Emmy. Not forget the Emmys. The Grammys.
You okay, Stu?
The Grammys. I want you to do the Grammys.
I did the Grammys. I did the Grammys for 3 years.
Forever. I want you to do the Academies forever.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope you don't get bored with it because it's not the same without you.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it.
And I want you to do some serious stuff. I think you're really good at that.
Well, go see this movie because, one, I think it's very funny, but two, there's a whole other thing happening here between me and a great performance by David Paymer, who plays my brother, and Helen Hunt. And Ron. It's really I think this is a great movie.
Great, I'm going to see it. But what I really want to ask you is I'm confused. I'm a baseball fan from Chicago.
Yeah, that's confusing.
Are you truly a Cub fan?
No, people think I'm a Cub fan because I wore a Cub shirt and running scared.
Mets.
Is that it?
Then I wore a Met hat in City Slickers.
Where are your allegiances?
I'm a Yankee fan.
A Yankee fan?
Yeah, I know.
That's confusing.
I bought a satellite dish just so I could get WPAX at Madison Square Garden from New York. Every time I tune in the dish prints out computer-wise. What are you, nuts? What did you do? Don't make me go to F46.
Well, the Yankee fans have really gotten some bad press lately, but you're improving that situation. I tell you, I was at the game that you played at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
And I don't remember you playing. No, I'm not serious.
Where's your drummer?
I do remember Selleck smacking the ball really.
Tom's
really hits the ball.
Well, Tom had just come off a baseball movie, and I hadn't played in a year, and I got a hit. And you know what? Good? You're making me sick. Hang up the phone.
Hey, I want to tell you.
I want to tell you something, pal. No, you listen to me. You get up, you're all confused. You were medicated last night, and it's a hangover.
Thanks for calling, Stu.
Billy.
Get out of here.
Okay. All right, then. All right, now let us ask you this, and you're going to have to answer honestly.
Yeah.
Mr. Saturday Night's out. All the critics are talking about Oscars, Academy Awards. It's the best performance of your life. And I answer honestly, do you want that statue?
Boy, yeah, sure you do. I mean, I don't take that stuff seriously. It would be an honor to be nominated. I love that they're just talking about the movie in that term. I think that David Paymer, who plays my brother, is a great shot to be nominated as Best Supporting Actor. Well, if that happens, great. I'm not concerned with it now.
Well, you'd have to get a bigger head.
You do, because
I got a good-sized head.
Yeah, it's not that big, though.
Well,
not as big as Streisand.
It's tall, but kind of thin.
That's true. Sure. I mean, who wouldn't want that? If that happens, if you're going to be in the starting line, you might as well, win the race. I can't even think about that, though.
Yeah, but you have.
That's why I've been up all night. Ask Stu. Stu and I were talking about it.
Drinking cough syrup.
Jeez, Stu. Get it together.
Stacy,
Yes.
you're on the air with Billy Crystal.
Hey, Billy, big fan.
Thanks,
I have
Stacy.
a question for you.
Okay.
4 years ago, you were in New York City and did a class with Richard Brown.
That is not my child.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I did.
Have you been back?
I saw Richard last week at the New York premiere. I did not do the class again because our schedules weren't...
Can I ask from, this is the first time I've ever really been able to ask from the celebrity point of view, do you like that? I mean, talking to 500 people, I mean, it's not TV, it's not radio, I mean, you have hundreds and thousands of listeners, but this is just a class. Is that kind
I
of...
loved it. It was great. He's a very good interviewer, and there were bright students who really cared about film.
Because they love you. I mean, it is a very exciting thing, because I was involved with Richard's class for about 2 years.
What kind of class is this?
It's a film class. We screen films on the weekend,
Oh.
and then on the weeknight, we have a guest in class.
Matter of fact, they're on television now. I don't know what channel they're on. It's either a Bravo or something like that.
He does a cable station. But I have to tell you that I left New York City 4 years ago on a Sunday morning. You were in class on Wednesday night. I almost stayed in New York for 4 days to see you.
Yeah, well, almost, you know.
So, but you do enjoy his classes?
I did. Well, I only went to the one class. It was a great thing.
All right.
Anyway,
Thanks for calling.
you're
Goodbye.
welcome.
You know,
I almost stayed.
but didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Mark, Billy, I had a question, but you already answered it. Thing I wanted to
All
say,
right, nice. Thanks for calling.
Thing I wanted to
You're
say,
going to make me say it again. What is this, deja vu? Okay.
no, what I really,
Deja vu. Didn't I order this before? What?
Have fun storming the castle.
the one thing that I really admire and respect about you, I mean, you're great. The one thing that I think makes you stand out from all other comics out there is that you will make people laugh in your stand-up routine, but then you'll take a moment and kind of step back and mellow out, maybe get a little serious, and you make people think. You make people feel, leave the show not only having laughed, but they also feel good. And I think that's great. I think that's really.
Thank you. I want to send you something.
Hey, Mark and Brian.
Yo.
I've been calling for about a month. I've been on the phone for 2 hours now. Is there any way I could get Metallica tickets?
Why, sure.
Thank you.
Hang on.
Take them and run.
Thank you.
You know, the first thing I saw you do was your, I plugged into some show and you were on television and you were doing your home movie bit.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
That is amazing.
The old 8mm movie.
Yeah.
There's a section in Mrs. Saturday Night that's 8mm. It's where Buddy gets married, and I shot it like it's a home movie. And what I did was about 3-4 days before we shot the sequence, I looked at all of these home movies that I was in as a little kid, and one of them was my Aunt Marcia's Wedding, 1955,
Yeah.
and I was 7 then. Talk about needing decaf. I was scary. I was like a possessed little kid. It looked like a midget wrestler had been dressed up and running around my family, and I did the exact same thing in the movie that I did when I was 7 years old. I just did the same behavior. It was hysterical to me.
All right, you're directing a major motion picture, your very first. This is your project. Who do you go to for advice for direction, or did you have someone there?
Well, I had a great DP, Don Peterman, who did a tremendous job, and I knew really what I wanted. I really did my homework. We compared notes on different movies that we loved, different scenes. We compiled reels of different moments, lighting, just little camera moves of things, and then applied it to where we thought it would work in our script. And then every day I found I had more style than I thought I did. My big fear in starting the movie was, do I have a style? Will I, and every day it got more and more exciting.
Well, filling the room with food smells, that's pretty much a style.
That is.
Did that help you as a director, as an actor, or did that help the actors?
It helped everybody.
Did it?
Helped everybody. I mean, it smelled like my grandmother's house, and when the people came in, they started to cry. Not because of the onions that we had fried the night before, but because it was so real. And in the dressing rooms backstage in 1950, I know these places. I played these places, but later, it's damp. They're always damp, these things. So there was a damp, musty smell we'd make, and it really helped. Because, one of the basics of acting is sense memory, and if it's a smell that takes you back, or if it's piece of clothing or something you're thinking about, it really just helps.
In this business and being in the position that you're in, a lot of people, they want to know you, they want to be your buddy, they want to be your friend, they want something, from you. Where do your best friends come from? Are they old childhood buddies?
A few are. My oldest friends live out here. Dr. David Sherman. He's a kidney specialist, and we grew up together. We lived together at NYU, and when I was in New York, I got roasted by the Friars Club last week. It was oh man, I wish we could play some of that stuff, but ouch.
Who was doing the roasting?
Oh, well, we had a great combination. We had everybody from Buddy Hackett, Alan King, Pat Cooper, to Robin Williams, Gary Shandling. Sinbad was great. Rob was the roast master. He was so filthy. He was amazing. And everybody, it was an amazing turnout. It was an amazing turnout. So my friends are a combination of people, and, they keep growing. I'm really lucky to have good people.
One of your best friends, Rob Reiner.
Yes.
Worked with him again sometime soon?
Anytime. Yeah. Anytime, any place.
He has a style that's beautiful.
He is a tremendous filmmaker who is a great man to work with. He's a great guy to be on a set with.
Fun, I would have said.
He's great fun, and he also knows exactly what he wants, and you give it to him. He makes you give it to him.
We haven't even talked about comic relief, but you mentioned Robin Williams. How do you, when you're standing on a stage with Whoopi Goldberg and Robin Williams, how do you, number one, stand on the stage with him, and how many times during the time you're standing there do you want to stuff his mouth with a handkerchief and yank him off?
We have a great relationship on stage. I love being on stage with him. That's like, being with Sugar Ray at his prime. I just lay in the ropes and look for a counterpunch. That's all I can do with him. I've been really fortunate to be effective with him because I'm a good listener and I'm patient. I know when to pull him back. I know when to let him go, and he does the same with me. And we really can feed each other great. And we were together last week with, looking to do a movie together, and we'll find the right thing, or we'll just write it ourselves. Maybe we'll be morning, jocks. That would be great. Two of us in the studio, and then the detective could be.
What is he? I mean, he is so nuts on the Tonight Show, and he's just always going so fast you can't catch half of it. Yeah. What is he like when he's
quiet? Yeah. We have a great time. He has a wonderful wife and 3 great kids, and that's what we talk about.
So he's able to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some of my best times with Robin. We went to his vacation in Hawaii, and we were there together and just went to the beach and walked around and didn't do shtick and until we went to this restaurant. It was Robin, I, and Gary Shandling, and the food was late. It wasn't, and the kids were sleeping and falling asleep. Plus the music in Hawaii is driving you nuts anyway. The only thing louder than that is the shirts. They bring me this little pig on parallel bars. They said, "What is this, Mary Lou Retton? Poi, flush it down the toilet." I could do this forever. So they take us into the kitchen, and Gary's great. He's going, "If you could have the food, it would be good." I go to, I will, and I'm doing it. You guys could. And Robin, when Gary and I come back, and Robin's still in there. He did 20 minutes because the heat lamp was on. He's the greatest. It's like it's like having a comic in a comet in a barrel. He's an amazing man.
The movie is called Mr. Saturday Night Live, critically acclaimed. Mr. Saturday Night.
Much of it is live, though.
Take 2, we're still rolling.
Mr. Saturday Night, very critically acclaimed already. Make your own decisions. Go see it. It looks funny.
Go see it today.
I saw it. It was wonderful.
And you are? Folks, let me tell. Look, I'm pleading with you. My kids are starving. I got rickets. My legs are bowing. Go. If you like Harry and Sally, if you like City Slickers, you're gonna love this movie. I think it's. I can't say any more. I just want you to go.
Let's ask you this: who's the funniest stand-up comedian you've ever seen?
Oh man. Pryor in his height was great. Robin up close was pretty devastating. And I would have to add to that, in the early 70s, Albert Brooks. When Albert was doing stand-up, to me was the greatest mind I've ever seen working on stage, and I just think he's like the funniest. You know, Robin, Albert, Lily is great. I mean,
Hard to say.
yeah, but that's the cream.
You worked with Alan King in a movie.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Memories of Me.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a very tender movie.
I love that movie, and
He did a great job in that.
he's sensational in that movie. And I was with him last week, and I got to tell you quick. Do we have time for a quick?
Oh,
story?
do what you
It's,
need.
it's a roast. We're doing it. It's this roast, and the roasts are rough. It's rough, right? And my mother is sitting in the audience. There's about 2,500 people, and Rob does a line that Alan and we played father and son this movie, and we can. Alan and he have continued this relationship off stage as well. As a matter of fact, last week Alan slept with Billy's mother. All right, and the crowd is, and Rob knows my mom, and he goes out. He says to her, "Helen, how was it?" My mother from the audience, without missing a beat, goes, "Don't get me started." That's great. It was great.
And speaking of that, you did mention your childhood. What was your childhood? What went on there?
It was wild, you know. It was great. And my dad was in the music business, and my uncle was a great record producer. My uncle produced Rock Around the Clock.
Yay!
Yeah, my Uncle Milt produced Rock Around the Clock, all of Billie Holiday's things,
Wow.
Red Roses for a Blue Lady. He's in the Grammy Hall of Fame this past year.
Bitchin'.
Yeah, and now I think he's going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So Milt was, you know, that was great. And my dad handled all of these great jazz musicians. So the house was always filled with these great artists, you know, white and black. So, you know, the house smelled of brisket and bourbon, you know, we used to say. And it was great. My bar mitzvah, as my brother's, it was a jam session, became a great jam session. I mean, you couldn't believe what happened. And they were just sitting there, you know, with my old relatives, and, hey, man, cool, at the same time.
Combination.
Yeah, Passover at my house, do with the bitter herbs, do you eat them or smoke them? What do you do with it? You know, so... And, you know, we had, growing up in the 50s, the greatest television of its day. You had, you know, you could turn on, Sid Caesar was on live.
Yeah.
The Honeymoon is Bilko. Phil Silvers, Bilko, is the greatest sitcom character I think ever done, right up there with Archie Bunker. Phil Silvers was so funny. And then at night you had Jack Parr, you know, which was The Tonight Show. Then Jonathan Winters was hot and great, and it was a great time to grow up. And then my dad we had a record store in New York, and he'd bring home comedy albums. You know that Bob Newhart's album in 1962 was voted Album of the Year. Grammy, not best album,
Not best comedy album.
not best comedy album, best album.
Wow. Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
The phone stuff mostly?
Yeah, it was called The Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart. It was the best album of the year. That was
Wow.
62, I believe, yeah.
So your dad liked to laugh?
Yeah, he had a great sense of humor. He was, he would, if we watched something, he would be, don't watch the Three Stooges, watch Laurel and Hardy, look how they build this joke.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it wasn't, you
Really?
know...
Now, he was talking to you...
Yeah, and my brothers, too, you know, and the greatest toy we had was an old Webcore reel-to-reel quarter-inch tape recorder. And we would just do, you know, bits, you know, and Ed Murrow had a show called Person to Person, and they'd go into somebody's house and do an interview. And
Dr. Ruth West.
Dr. Ruth, how are you?
Up to you. Come and give me a kiss later on the other show.
I can. I'm wearing a condom. Yeah.
Give me a kiss.
I'll,
I can't be
what
in
kind of
Hollywood
kiss?
without being kissed by you.
I'll kiss you. I'll show you my abalone. I'll tell you that right now.
Dr. Ruth.
Yeah. Nice. I am standing.
So a lot of TV as a kid?
Yeah.
But he's got a big head. A lot of TV as a kid?
Yeah. A lot of TV, a lot
Radio?
of radio. A lot of radio.
Drama?
There were radio dramas, and, you know, Jack Benny was still on the radio then, and it was a great time to imagine things, you know. We had this... Do you have to go, or we're okay?
No,
just
we're fine.
talk. All right, we had this game in the backyard of my house. We had this little backyard, and it was shaped like Yankee Stadium. Short right field, deep left center field. I'm deep 50 feet.
Yeah.
And my older brother, Joel, created this game where we used a shuttlecock from badminton, and we had this little league bat, and he cut out this catcher form and put it on an easel, right? And it became like stickball, you know, baseball. And we had a 60-game season. We played night games where we took every lamp out of the house and put them outside. It was amazing. It was our thing, and we'd announce it You know, and we'd have pre-game shows in the garage and post-game shows. We played an old-timers game where we walked around like old guys for like 4 innings. It was amazing. It was wild. And we would imagine, that's why I started doing Phil Rizzuto. You know, I've done Phil Rizzuto on my act for years because he was the Yankee announcer, you know.
Were you the child that made the family laugh, or was it all of the boys?
All of us are wild, you know, very wild guys.
And to have a dad who's saying, watch how they build this joke. And
yeah.
What about your relationship with mom and dad? Open, and could you express yourself? And
yeah, well, I lost my dad when I was 15, so my mom and I, and my older brothers were out of the house at that point. They were in college, so to keep us going, which she was, it just blew us away. We would do things together and so on and so forth. This is a funny story. People say, what is your first appearance on television, I said, well, there's two. The first time I was 8 years old, there was a local show in New York called Joe Bolton, Officer Joe, Little Rascals. It was on WPIX.
A cartoon show? Or
it was the Little Rascals, the films, and he was a cop, Joe Bolton, Officer Joe, and he had this little clubhouse, and had these little kids would come in, and they'd watch the movie. And I was on, and my dad had supplied them with the music, the theme song for the show, which was A Whistler and His Dog. That was the theme for the show. And he'd say, well, look who we have today. And the kids would say their name into a funnel, and then they'd pass it on to the person next to them. And that's Harvey Kemler, I'm from Massapequa, New York. I'm 8 years old. And then they'd hand it to the next guy. I was so panicked. I was so nervous. They handed me the thing, and I threw up in the funnel. And I handed
This is live, brother. This is live.
Live, yeah. And then I handed it to my brother. And he went, what did you do that for? What's the matter with you? So, we started fighting on the show, and they cut to Little Rascals. But as I got into high school, a cousin of mine was Merv Griffin's agent for Merv's television show. Merv had a show on West 44th Street in New York next to Sardi's. It was the Merv Griffin show, right? Local. And I used to take the train in from where I lived, go to the tapings, wait till it was quiet, and go, right? And then take the train home, put it on the show, I said, Mom, watch, and be real quiet, and you'd hear, that's me. So
that's how you got started.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Hey, being a baseball fan that you are, something you may want to do sometime, this is a lot of fun, is go to a high school game or a college baseball game.
Yeah.
And when the pitcher comes out and he's warming up with the catcher, and then when he's had 5 or 6 throws, you should go in, and after about 3 throws, the pitcher about 3 throws, just yell from the stands, coming down! The second baseman in short will always move over, and it's your own little personal joke. Nobody kind of knows it went, but we've done this before.
Really?
Yeah.
And where UCLA games at Jackie?
No, we came here from Birmingham, Alabama. We'd go down to UAB when they played baseball. Just in the afternoons after we'd write the show, we'd go down and just hang for a couple of minutes.
Down.
And we'd do this, and they'd move over. We'd snicker and poke each other.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a funny thing.
Just good fun stuff.
Oh, man. I hope the people understand that,
Oh, well, screw them if they don't. I mean,
we had a good time.
I mean, your listeners.
That's all we needed. This has been very special for us, Billy, and for all the people that have called up and sent faxes and so forth. You don't do this, and we know that. And
why'd I do it? It's good.
Now that you just about to finish promoting the film, you're going to take some, how much time? 6 months?
Whatever it is. Whatever it'll be. I'm not going to put any limits on it.
We're on 10 days.
No, the wife's excited.
Yeah.
The wife's excited.
Yeah, she said the funniest thing to me yesterday. She said, what's the profit position on this movie? So I explained where my percentage comes in, and then she takes a beat and she stares at me and she goes, "Did you have to make it so Jewish then?" Well, yeah. And it's not. It was just a really funny line.
Well, thanks for coming, and get done with your break and go do some more projects and come back.
I would love to come back. This is great.
Congratulations on your 10-year-old child.
Yeah, I tell you, I've been walking around crowning for the last, giving up a movie is very much like it's someone else raises your child now, and it's a weird feeling. Sometimes you feel like the father of the bride walking down the aisle, and the best man that you tip your hat and go, "We'll take her," But I couldn't be any prouder of this movie, and I mean that.
Do you have
You keep
another?
bringing that out in me.
Do you have another film, another concept, another project that is as close to you that you have yet to put together as Mr. Saturday Night?
There's one other that I wrote a couple of years ago.
The Charo story.
The Charo story.
Which, boy, I'll
I
tell you
can't
what.
wait for you
Yeah,
to
that's
see
gonna
that.
be good.
Coochie Coochie, the movie. It opens with somebody stepping on a little chihuahua.
Coochie Coochie.
That
the
noise.
movie. All right, well, we know you got to go and get on with it, but thank you very much, man.
Thanks, it was
a real
great.
blast.
You know, I could actually stay another 5 minutes. If
We
you-
really got to go now.
All right.
Okay, so- Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks, Billy.